brain. Welcome into his frequency. Enter at your own risk. Come be at peace with me. Ask the Paul, where we rise and don't fall.
Episode of Baxter's Buzz. I am your host, Baxter E. Hall. Welcome to my brain. Welcome to my frequency. Enter at your own risk. Today, I have a friend with me. He is a native Detroiter, graduate of Wayne State and Davenport University, and the founder of Empower You Ventures, Charles McKaye. Welcome to Baxter's Buzz, my friend.
Hey, thank you for inviting me, Baxter. Thank you for your platform. You're doing great things with just kind of having some very insightful conversations. So it is an honor and privilege to be here with you.
Well, the feeling is mutual. We'll talk about it in a bit, your podcast, but you allow me, opportunity to be on your platform here earlier this year. So appreciate you as well. Empower You Ventures. Tell me why did you start the LLC, and then tell me what it's all about.
All right, so let me start with just kind of a quick overview of the company. It started in 2021, Empower You Ventures, and the goal of the company is to be like a small business advocate and helping also community leaders. So it's a media and self-development company with the focus of helping local new entrepreneurs and community leaders, particularly people who are underserved, to help and increase their reach and their visibility with podcast interviews, also short form media that can be posted on different platforms to help to give the word out for what they're doing, whether they're a nonprofit leader or a business owner who may not have the opportunity to have access to major media, and they want to kind of get a feel for talking to a local media, get their word out, and craft their story.
Yeah. You are incredibly consistent with the podcast. You do an excellent job. Your guests are interesting. There's a nice, variety of folks that you're talking to, but then also you do a really good job of promoting and marketing that. What is that your background? Where does that come from?
I've took some marketing classes at the grad program at Davenport University, but mainly I just have a passion about serving others and helping to amplify other voices. And let me share a little backdrop of just how this company got started and why I started Empower You Ventures in 2021. As you know, and as the world know, we were in the midst of a international pandemic. And, there was a lot of unknowns, shutdowns, shelter in place. We didn't know if it was airborne or how this virus was spreading. And we knew, and I don't know about you, but I knew people personally who didn't make it through this thing. And then we knew celebrities. And I was going through some things. I was by myself. I was going through, unfortunately, a second divorce. After about 5-6 years, we were separated, and we had decided, after we did counseling and other things, we decided that it was best for us to depart. So I was living separately, and I was evaluating my life because I was like, man, if this is all life I have, and if I don't make it through, I was just kind of thinking in my mind, what will my family, my children, my friends, my coworkers, what would they say about me? And when I thought about that, I was very disappointed, to be honest. I don't know, it kind of, when you're faced with the possibility of immortality, that you're going to die, or, maybe it was like sort of like a midlife crisis. And I made a promise to myself and to God, I do have a little spiritual background, that if I make it through this, I wanted to live a different life, and hopefully people would have some positive things to say. Not that I was saying that I was a bum or a loser on the street or but I just wasn't satisfied where I was at in my relationships with people. I wasn't satisfied where I was at financially. and had I made an impact to my community? And so I developed what I call kind of my why, and I developed these I statements, and there's three of them. I wanted to be intentional, impactful, and influential. Now, when I say impactful, I wanted to be impactful in a way where I could provide value and serve others. I wanted to be influential in terms of inspiring people to discover their passion and purpose. And I wanted to be intentional with having meaningful relationships. I thought that I lacked real connection and relationships. And so that's how I started Empower You Ventures. I looked at myself at the mirror and said, hey, if I want to see change, it starts with me, the person in the mirror. And so Empower You Ventures, Empower You. It's about providing impact, serving others, helping to amplify other voices. I wanted to be influential and inspire people. We do the book club to kind of help people discover their purpose, their gifts, so they can discover their why too. And I'm trying to be more intentional with relationships and doing things to provide value to others. So that's how it got started. And I follow into a tradition of I call John the Baptist, who his role was to prepare the way, and he decreased and said, hey, this is the one to follow. So I bring that philosophy in business where I really try to serve others and bring value. And I'm okay. I don't have to be the number one. I can take the back seat. I'm learning this process of leading from behind. And it's kind of weird because some people are not used to that. They're used to like people like, hey, they're trying to be the number one. I'm not saying it's okay to be the best at what you're trying to do, but I'm okay with serving and providing value to others because of what I went through during the pandemic.
That's super powerful. Super powerful. I mean, you said so much there. I mean, I when you talked about that reflection piece, this is the way God works. I'm in the process of writing right now on my next book, and the piece that specifically that I've been writing this week has been about self-awareness. And so you have to take a hard look in the mirror a lot of times. And so you're giving me a lot of things to consider as I continue to kind of write on this topic this week. But it really reminds me of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and beginning with the end in mind, right? You said, what will people think about me? I think that's really powerful and very honest that you said, yeah, I'm not some loser or anything like that, but I definitely have more in the tank to give. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I had a very similar sort of, I recently sort of really tapped into my purpose. And around that same time, it came from a sort of a different angle, but still it was truly about me wanting to document my time here on this earth and the to continue to make ripples. And some ripples become waves, some of them don't, some of them attach to other ripples that become waves, right? To your point, you just want to contribute and be influential, and we don't know whose life we can help change with the ripple that we make. We may not make the largest crashing waves, but maybe that ripple allowed that wave to be what it is, right? And so coming from that really like servant sort of attitude, I think you're on to something. I think you're on to something.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Intentional, impactful, and influential. So I gotta ask you,
Yes.
when you think about being impactful, like, have you always thought about the world in that way? Like, hey, like it takes a lot of bravery just to even say it out loud. Hey, I want to be impactful. Like, you talked about kind of how you got here, but have you always been one that wanted to make an impact?
Yeah, I think I had a desire to make an impact, but I had a misunderstanding I grew up in an environment, a native Detroiter, where we look at certain metrics in terms of our status, of terms of being impactful, like whether how much money we make, how much followers we have, or how many people we know, and it's really more so based in competition because you're comparing yourself. I've learned over time that comparison is like the thief of joy, and everybody's journey is unique. And as I went through kind of a spiritual reevaluation, I began to see that the most impactful way of contributing to my community is being a servant or a servant leader or helping others, not necessarily, how much money I make or what social status I achieve. If I become and not knocking social status or being an elected official or being a CEO, but it's more so, if you're lying in your dying bed, I'm not going to be thinking about how many degrees I had or how much money. I'm like, man, did I touch some lives? Did I make someone else's life better? And so I want to live a life that's about making people's lives better. And it can be simple as, like yourself. Hey, check out Baxter's, his podcast and what he's doing. Or the other day, someone had posted on Facebook they was looking for a venue. And I knew some people personally that had a venue that could host a conference. And I said, hey, check out their venue. And I'm not sure if they booked that venue, but it just gives me joy to see people doing well. I really celebrate other people's success, and I'm repositioning my mind to not necessarily think of it as being competitive, but like, how can I serve others and be impactful in that way? And I just on my own personal journey of just becoming the best version of myself.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. The podcast, when you talked about really wanting to highlight difference makers in the Detroit area, whether it be sort of the entrepreneurial folks and or, folks that are, really involved in the community.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with, like, why are those things important to you? Why do you want to highlight, folks that are doing things in the community?
Yeah, I think this path of serving others, celebrating people, and particularly in Detroit, over time, we've had a sort of a negative narrative, and I wanted to kind of chronicle and almost document, like, hey, here's some other narratives, here's some other stories that people may not even know about. They may not be featured on WDIB Channel 4 News or Fox 2 local Detroit, but they're doing things, whether it's in their schools, in their churches, in the community. And so I wanted to highlight them, and also new entrepreneurs who are it's a lot, as you know, to start a business. It's a lot of risk.
Yes.
It may be calculated risk, and we know a lot of businesses, unfortunately, don't even make it past a year or 5 years or 10 years. So if there's any way that I can get the word out about what they're doing, so they can help them to launch or to help to amplify what their product or service is, I just want to be about being a blessing. So I want the remainder time I have here, I would hope that people would say, hey, man, Charles is about serving and helping others.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. When you think about the guests, think about the people that you've had on. I mean, you're now doing the book club. Talk about what gave you the idea for the book club, and we had a conversation offline earlier this week. Tell me about what your intentions are for the book club.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a couple of things I'm attempting to do. Is I believe that growth, real growth and change happens in the context of community. Community helps people. Iron sharpens iron, as you may have heard the phrase. Community creates inspiration. People are inspired to change. Also, people are held accountable in the context of community. If you say you want to do something, you have people who will ask you, well, how's that going? So the book club is a vehicle to create community, but also for selfish reasons, I know that on my journey, in order to grow, I need to learn from the wisdom and whether it's mistakes or positive things from other people in the area of professional development and business. And so a lot of people have written their wisdom and their concepts in books. And I know if I want to grow, I need to read these books. And so it was a goal to me to read at least 4 books in the area of personal development and business and learning systems and different things, and to look at books that are, not necessarily that we're selecting, choosing one book over another, but books that's been kind of sort of vetted, New York Times bestsellers maybe, or other successful people recommend. A lot of successful people recommend certain books, and I wanted to read those books. And so doing a book club, whether it's 2 or 3 or whoever, it keeps me accountable to read, because I got to be prepared to discuss about chapters in the book. Yeah. And so that was really the book club was more about accountability for me, but I wanted to invite people on this journey if they wanted to grow. So my theme is, hey, let's grow together, because I think that in a context of a community, you can grow. It's better to grow together in a community as opposed to being alone. And one of the things we do with our group when we meet for our book club, we share about what's our goal for next month. What are we trying to accomplish, whether it's professionally or in business? And I encourage people to share maybe one win. What win did they experience? Or also what's something that didn't go well that they can learn. I know we talk about failures, and I know it's a reality, but I kind of subscribe that, yes, failure is real, but failure is not final. And really, failure is just something you tried that didn't quite work out and you can learn from. And so we just I just wanted to invite people on that journey. And it started off slow, a few people. Now it's got a small group of about 6 to 5 people. And my goal was just to be consistent and just hey, let's be on a journey of growth together.
Yeah. Yeah. You said, let's grow together. That's your tag, right?
Yeah, let's grow together. Yes.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love being able to sort of incorporate just the goals and, wins. I'm big on that, sharing experiences with like-minded people. Mm-hmm. I gain so much wisdom from my circle, my inner circle, but then also folks that aren't quite in my inner circle, just being able to have a conversation, learn about what folks may have going on. Those things are important. You can take those lessons and even if it's not the exact same thing that you're doing, you can a lot of times apply a lot of it to something you may be dealing with or experiencing as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. For folks that are in this, greater Detroit area, and they would love to be on the podcast. They want to connect with you, learn more about what you have going on, maybe even join the book club. How would they reach you, Charles?
Oh, okay. So for people who are interested in being a guest, they do earn something in the community, they would like to share about what they're doing, or they're new on. I really focus on new entrepreneurs. I know I'm okay with established businesses, but I really trying to amplify someone who's kind of on the come up. But yeah, they would just simply go to, they can email me directly at hello@DetroitMetroPlug313.com. That's hello@DetroitMetroPlug313.com. And so that's the podcast, Detroit Metro Plug podcast. They can go to my page on Facebook at Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, the business page. They can send a message there. LinkedIn also, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, or my LinkedIn page is at Charles McKaye. Also, I'm on Instagram at Detroit Metro Plug Podcast. So Instagram, Facebook, direct email, and usually I respond within about 24 hours. There's a link that people fill out, just kind of general information. Who are they, their website, different things. So kind of get a feel to who they are and what they're about. A lot of people actually, a lot of my guests come from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Since LinkedIn is more of a professional. That's how we connected. I know we connected first through the Southfield Chamber, but also we messaged through LinkedIn. So a lot of guests come through LinkedIn when I post there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep. So I'm not hard to find. I encourage people to go to our YouTube page, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, and like and subscribe. And that's another way to connect as well.
Cool. Detroit Metro Plug Podcast.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, all of the social media platforms. Charles is, like I said, is out there, having a lot of cool interviews, really doing a great job amplifying what people have going on, and we need more platforms like that. So kudos to you and how intentional you are, and you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of Charles, I am Baxter E. I guess I should plug my own stuff. If you're listening to this, if you are watching this, thank you for your continued support. Please like, subscribe. If it's something that is beneficial for you, share it. It may be beneficial for someone else. Don't be stingy, all right? And I want everyone to know that you are all capable. You just have to embrace your own frequency. So don't forget that. Charles, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you for your attention to this wonderful episode. And until next time, peace.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome into his brain, welcome into his frequency. Enter at your own risk, come be at peace with me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, please subscribe, share, and also hit that notification button as well. Thank you so much.
Financial literacy to authentic Black history, this real rap.